Alright, I'm fucking live. So, another coffee and amphetamine fueled video coming at you straight out of Mission Control. Um, so what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to wake these people up? I don't know. This generation, what do they call it? Generation Z, that's out there protesting and wasting time, wasting valuable resources, wasting food. Uh, they got an autonomous zone in Seattle, one of the most do nothing cities in the world. I mean, we could do without Seattle. They're a great port city. I understand that, but the rest of the city, besides the ports, is expendable. you know, um, a liberal hub of society, a socialist utopia now, as it turns out. So, I mean, a good answer to this would be that Trump needs to enact a draft. In all seriousness and being comical at the same time, I would enact a draft and either start a war with China and North Korea and just send in start a draft and incorporate all of them into the infantry, build infantry transport boats, and just invade China and North Korea. And if we're successful there, go on to take over communist Russia as well. but insurrection seems to be the thing of the day here that these people understand. So I would sit here talking talking with my monkey, talking with my skunk, and they seem to agree. Uh, along with my fish up there, uh, they, they seem to agree with me about the whole draft thing. You know, that would put a gap in the generations and give these people something to preoccupy themselves with, because apparently they've they've hit a bump in the road where and this whole lockdown thing is to blame. Taking jobs away that these kids, and that's what they are. They're just kids in their late teens to early 30s. They're just kids, and they don't have anything better to do than go out and try and make their voices heard. I understand a lot of them are really, really heartfelt trying to make their voices heard. But a lot of them are just out there to cause trouble and to get their jollies off, whatever that may be. Burning down the Wendy's or looting the corner store or the pharmacy. When they looted those pharmacies, think how many prescription opiates are out on the street now from those pharmacies being looted. And all the other drugs, the amphetamines and stuff that were in those pharmacies. You know, uh, like I said in a previous video, if you wanted something cheap that you couldn't find before, as far as like cell phones and laptops, computers and stuff, TVs, you could probably find it on eBay right now or Amazon, and it's probably stolen merchandise. I guarantee you they're beginning to crack down on the stolen merchandise stuff, but it's going to be a little difficult to track those things. And some items have built-in, things to where if they're not run through a register and numbers put in, that they're marked as stolen, and they won't ever work, or they'll send off a message somewhere that it's been stolen. But really, I think war is inevitable. To take these climatable zones that are going to be used for farming like Siberia is becoming more and more climatable and is being looked at for farming by the USSR, by Russia. And so I think that, if we don't go to war with China or somewhere, we should go to war with these nations that have abundance of farmland, so we can secure our food stores in the near future. As as the climate changes, as the poles are wandering and our poles are inevitably going to flip, we can foresee what zones are going to be unfarmable and what zones are going to be farmable. You know, I mean, like Greenland. Will Greenland really turn green? Or, is Siberia going to keep on this trend of melting? And there's tons of farmland in Siberia. And Antarctica, if the poles flip, will the Antarctic ice melt and reveal um, jungle like islands? Because the, the, the flora and fauna will come back from millions of years ago when it was, you know, Antarctica could have been the the uh, the Atlantis of what we speak of, or one of those land masses, Lemuria, and then the poles shifted and everything changed at Paleo. The Paleo Indians, we really don't know where they came from. We just know that they were here prior to those last two ice ages we had. So, and we could trace humanoids back hundreds of thousands of years, almost a million years. So, I don't know. Things are quite frustrating here at the homestead with nothing to do. It's too hot now to go camping or fishing or anything like that. So we're just tending the garden and watering the garden and picking the fruit trees. And my mom made some plum jam the other day. It's really good. We didn't have quite enough sugar. We should have went and got some more sugar for it. But next time we do, I think we're going to make a peach jam with the peaches. If the peaches are all good, if we have enough peaches. A bunch of them fell off in the hailstorm. A couple hailstorms we had not too long back in April. Well, yeah, in April and May, and we lost some fruit there. But the pears are doing real good. Last year we had a bunch of pears. We couldn't get rid of them all. We had to throw a bunch of them out because they rotted, and we got rid of some of them for free to people. But you know, this year I might go down to the farmers market and sell the pears. I might not make I might not make a whole lot of money, but at least I get to share my produce with the community and whoever likes those sandy, gritty type pears. They're real hard. They're not the soft pears that you usually can buy in the grocery store. These are real hard, sandy, gritty pears. They're kind of like apples, kind of like pear apples. If you ever had a pear apple? Um, so anyway, the garden's doing real good. We haven't had to water a whole lot. Just had to water it once or twice since it's been not raining. But there should be some rain coming next weekend, so that's good. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. This coffee fueled, amphetamine fueled rant I usually do every day. Looking a little bit scruffy. I need to go take a shower and shave. I think I'll do that while this is uploading. And how do you like my thumbnail? Cindy Smolders sent that to me as a meme. She always sends me great memes. Big shout out to Cindy, my favorite girlfriend. She's getting married. She lives in Holland, and she's getting married here pretty soon to this great guy. I think he's a doctor or something. She's a great girl. She deserves uh, a great guy. She was married before and had a daughter, but she's real funny. She brings a smile to my face every day. When I get up when I get up late at night uh, from insomnia, she's always there. It's her morning time. When I get up at about 1 or 2 in the morning, she's just now waking up. It's like 6 or 7 in the morning over there, and she sends me memes, and I share news with her. And I've got several females that I chat with. Not so much here lately, but there are a few that I keep in contact with that I would consider really good friends and marryable material if they lived closer to me. But it's just this social media age has got everybody so spread out and spread apart that movements and social movements and like things like covens and Gnostic religious organizations are they're easy to throw together, but then when you start looking around, you're like, well, the closest member to me is 500 miles away, and some of them might be on and halfway around the world or on the other side of the world. It'd be really great if we had the Star Trek technology of transporters. So it'd be just as easy as you hitting the video chat on your Facebook Messenger. You could hit that button on your cell phone and transport yourself a million miles away to your neighbor's house, in case they're having a party or something. Not to your neighbor's house, but to your best friend online's house, or to your neighbor's house. How you don't want to walk across the yard, so you transport yourself. Think about how goods and services and everything would just change overnight. It would be amazing. And I miss those episodes of Star Trek. That uh, just getting a glimpse of what the future could be like. If our species survives that long, but unfortunately, our solar cycle is proving to show us that it's going to nova pretty soon and wipe the whole planet clean, wipe the solar system clean, and start brand new again. So I believe wholeheartedly if we don't get off this rock pretty soon, and Monkey agrees too, that if we don't get off this rock pretty soon, um, we're all doomed. If we don't put our heads together and focus on outer space travel and like fun things like the Space Force and Elon Musk's SpaceX, that we won't be able to protest silly things like what they're protesting now. Because all in all, the majority of the people aren't racist. It's only a small, probably 1% to 5% of the population is actual racist. You know, I mean, it might be in the back of your head a little bit of ambiance or a little bit of regret that you're the color of skin that you are, and somebody might hold that against you unconsciously. But it's these days, it's not a conscious thing. I mean, you don't see the KKK walking down the street with burning cross. People don't burn crosses anymore. I mean, it happens maybe once every 10 years, something like that might happen. But folks, this ain't the 40s, 50s, or 60s anymore. Things aren't bad for people. Trust me, it's not as bad as what they make it out to be. There's government subsidies and checks go out and programs, and if I'm living like I'm living here on disability, then I don't see why other people on disability aren't living the same way. You know, if they want to get themselves out of the gutter, they can. There's plenty of opportunities. Maybe not now, since the COVID and the lockdowns and the food shortages are coming. But in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, there were plenty of opportunities to raise yourself up and become a better person, or at least, you know, I had good income and a job all those years until I got old, broke down, my back went out, and I got arthritis, and I couldn't install carpet anymore. I just physically couldn't do it, and that was real sad because I I depended on that for extra income for the things I had, like gas in my truck to go places. If I wanted to go fishing, I could go get extra food out of the lake or a pond or somewhere. Now I don't have. I've got a truck and a license, sure, but I don't have gas to go anywhere because I don't have a job. I've got just enough money to pay the mortgage on this house and buy some food. And my mom's check goes to the bills and to keep the garden going and our fruit trees. Because it takes soil and fertilizer and natural pesticide and stuff to keep that all going. And gas for the lawn mowers to keep the lawn cut, and then some money goes to food. But we have to go to the food banks. We go to two different food pantries. One's a church and one's a food pantry. Once a month. They only allow you to go once a month. But we go to a food pantry twice a month to get just enough to skirt by. And my son works, but he's just making enough money to pay his car payment and the internet bill. He keeps our internet going, and we don't have cable TV. We have antenna, to do digital antenna stuff. So we just get local channels and just old rerun junk that they show. There's a couple good programs like Nova, and my mom watches PBS and AETN and stuff. But it's real. It's boring as fuck here. I've got my video games. I can play Xbox. But at this age, I need something better to do than that. My arthritis keeps me from performing like the 20 and 30-year olds and the teenagers, the kids outgame me. And they're like, "What's up, Mission? Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm back here fiddling with my gun. I'm reloading, or hide behind a rock or something, trying to avoid getting shot." But I enjoy hanging out with the guys online sometimes. It's not something I do 24 hours a day, you know. But you've probably seen some of my some of my live streaming I recorded from Battlefield 5 and more recently the Warzone, uh, Call of Duty Warzone. It's a fun game. I like first person shooters. I was into role playing games. I played Lord of the Rings online for a couple 2 or 3 years, and I'm anticipating the Lord of the Rings online. Uh, it's going to be on console and PC. It's going to be like the latest Lord of the Rings games that was on console, but it's going to be an open world role playing RPG. So I'm anticipating that it's either going to come out the end of this year or the end of next year. I can't remember what they're slated it for, but I know they rolled back the Lord of the Rings TV show because of the COVID. Put production on hold, and so that's real disappointing. I would get cable somehow if if I was able to watch that Lord of the Rings TV program. Because I'm a big Lotro buff, big Tolkien fan. Hell, I got a statue of Gandalf in my lot holding the Palantir and an owl on his shoulder. But some people think it's a statue of Moloch. But I'm like, no, it's Gandalf. The owl just happened to be the statue maker's creativity. But anyway, I just leave it at that. I'm over 20 minutes here. I'm sure you guys fucking don't don't enjoy me listen to me rant about shit, but I just had to get it out there till my voice went hoarse. Today, yeah, like I think we ought to have a draft and send all these people that don't have nothing better to do with their time overseas to fight for more farmland for us and leave the people here that are productive and want to actually want to change things or actually actively doing it through legislative purposes and doing it legally rather than burning down the Wendy's or or looting or trying to grow a cardboard garden in the middle of the park in the middle of the city. You know, so Sticks, Hex, and Hammer's got some good commentary on the Antifa BLM Chaz garden that's going on in Seattle. If you want to watch that, I'll leave a link to his latest video commenting on the garden. And maybe I'll find an article or two uh, keeping up with the what's going on overseas. Just to let you guys know that we are coming closer to a war um, scenario over there with China. And North Korea has ramped up their rhetoric as well. So, as always, everybody have a great night. And I will see you late tonight or tomorrow morning with another crazy video. Peace out, motherfuckers. Mr. Mission Control's out of here.